But I'll get up at 6. I'll go to bed at 10, I'll get up at 6, and I'll make coffee and sit on the couch and watch the fights. It's like the best. It's so relaxing. I get snuggled up on the couch. It's the best. Sometimes the cats will come out. But if I don't do mobility and journal before I do that, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
So priming, I pick a book the night before, as if I've been doing this for years, for the last 2 days. And I'm trying to from now on, but I'm so future-oriented, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a book the night before that, number one, it has to be something that I actually enjoy. It has to be something that I think the author is credible.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1926, one thing to add to your nighttime routine. If you're watching us on YouTube, Alan and I, so Alan is business cash right now. I would even say not even business, just cash. We have our Next Level Hope Foundation shirts on because we're recording this, a very rare recording on Sunday. But we're trying to get ahead so nobody has to work Christmas Eve or Christmas. We're trying to get all our episodes done so everything can move nicely. And we have the Next Level Hope Foundation event today. So we're going to record 2 episodes, shoot down to Worcester, to the YMCA. And
Kev said, I don't want us to be the business that has people working on Christmas.
I do not. Ever. I don't want to be that. I don't. Now, again, you and I, if you want to work on Christmas and you want to work on Christmas Eve, that's all gravy.
100%.
But I know, people have families and they want to do their thing, and
I respect it.
And I'd be pissed if I had to work on Christmas. I'd put you down. I'd have to put you down.
That would be the work you'd put in.
That would be the work I would put in. And Alan usually would say, I'd like to see you try. I'm going to see you today. I mean, I'm going to see you in 3 hours in person. And he didn't say
basketball.
Yeah, we're going to play some basketball. All right, let's do this episode. So I think one of the things, I think I've been fairly good at this in the past, but today we're going to talk about it from kind of a productivity lens. Every night before I go to bed, I won't say every, 9 out of 10 times I do this. I look at my calendar, I figure out what time my first call is, and I figure out what the flow of my day is. So am I back-to-back? Is my first call at noon? Do I only have 3 calls? What does my day look like? And then I try to plan accordingly. So just as an example, usually Mondays my first call isn't until 11. Usually my first calls are 11, but things are wonky right now, and clients are booking all over the place, and whatever. Take whatever time you need. But if my first call is at 11, I will make sure I get up at 6 so I have time to go to the gym. There are occasions where I have 9 a.m. calls. When I have 9 a.m. calls, I don't get up at 6 and go to the gym. I might sleep till 7 because I already know, I'm actually going to have 2 extra hours to work as opposed to me going to the gym. So the quick and easy nugget for this episode, lesson for this episode right off the top, is reviewing your calendar and reviewing the flow of your calendar the night before so you can plan a little bit better. Maybe you don't sleep well. Maybe you have a rough night of sleep and you know, well, I have time because it's an off day from the gym. And then at least for me, it eases my mind a little bit more. So today's Sunday. Tara and I got home late last night from holiday stuff with family. Got home at like 10, went to bed at 10:30. And I told her, I said, I'm going to see if I can get up at 6. It's the holiday event. I don't have any calls other than the recording. So the day is essentially gone. I know exactly what my day is going to look like. Let me see. My alarm went off at 6. I laid in bed for like 20 minutes trying to fall back asleep. And then I said, I might as well get up. But that was today was a bonus workout. I had planned for probably it not happening, but it was 10:30 when I went to bed. 7.5 hours is good enough for me. Let me see what can happen. So I think as important as a morning routine is, a nighttime routine, especially reviewing the calendar, is something that it takes all of a minute and it might save you a couple hours.
I hadn't intended on sharing this, but lately I've been doing calendars with some clients, and we pull up their calendar, and there's some certain blocks that I recommend people put in. And every single one of my clients has their top 3 priorities. And the idea is, whether you use Apple Calendar or Google Calendar, I recommend Google for sure. But the idea is, in the middle of your days, you want to put in the priorities. So one of my clients, I'll share this anonymously. So he has like 5 different things that he's doing. He works in education. He works at the bank. He does Uber on the side, Uber Learning, Uber Eats. He does tutoring. And he also does, he's starting his own, he's actually getting certified for financial coaching. So he's doing 5 different things, and his top 3 priorities are, for Q1, finance, fitness, and self-improvement. And so the calendar, everyone out there watching or listening, this is the way that I would recommend you start. If you're new to the calendar, just start small. This is what I would start with. When do you tend to go to bed? Plus or minus an hour. So let's say you tend to go to bed between 10 or midnight, put 11 p.m. Put 8 hours from that moment, maybe 9 if you're a big sleeper like me, 7 if you're like Kev. Okay? Put that on the calendar first. Boom. Okay, next, morning routine. No more than 3 things. And put it in your calendar. Then put a buffer between then and whatever your work is. Then from, 9 a.m., I call this the service window. So the first third is for me, second third is for service, third is for fitness, food, and family. And you can do a different sort of, but I always say the day is broken into 3 parts. There's the morning, there's the afternoon, and there's the evening. There's the morning, there's the afternoon, and there's the evening. Your morning routine, 3 things, nothing crazy, sustainable. Your afternoon is for service, baby. This is work. This is when you have a career. Gotta make money. Gotta do something in the world. If you're a solopreneur, you gotta discipline yourself to do your stuff. If you work for other people, boom, put that in there. So, and then the evening, there's got to be a shutdown routine, some sort of an evening routine. And usually there's something in there too for R&R. And so when you put this on your calendar, and I've been doing this with a couple people who just started using calendars, they never really used it. And I remember when I first started working with one of my first coaches, it was my aunt Joanne. And I remember I saw her calendar. I was like a year into starting my own company, and I was freaked out. I was like, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. Now my calendar is way bigger than hers was back then. And I understand now why when I show my calendar, some people are like, fuck that. But what I will say is that the amount of productivity that I get in a week compared to what it used to be is insane. And that's 52 weeks a year, so it compounds. I mean, you really become unbelievably successful. I mean, the amount that you learn and you grow. So if you've never used a calendar, that's a good infrastructure. The point of this episode, though, more than just the calendar and where you put your time, I was looking at 2024, and I've been thinking a lot about it. And I've been sitting down with Emilia. We've been talking about all the good things, all the bad, what we're going to change, what we improved, what was different, what was in 2023 versus 2024, and then what we want to accomplish in 2025. Very contemplative lately. And one of the things that pissed me off so effing much in 2024, I can't stand wasting time. Wasting time pisses me off. It's the one thing we never get any more of. If you're lucky enough to live to 100 years old, you have 36,500 days on planet Earth. And you never get another day. And that's if you live to 100. The average is 78 for women, 76 for men globally. So I can't fucking stand wasting time. Pardon my French. So what bothers me most about 2024, the amount of time that I wasted on YouTube pisses me off. So I decided not to do that in 2025. And I figured out why am I wasting so much time on YouTube? Why am I watching stupid shit I should not be watching, right? What you pay attention to dictates your life. I figured out why. I wake up in the morning and my first thing is to learn. I love learning. I go on YouTube and I try to find a TED Talk, or I try to find an interview, or I try to find, and yeah, I find great TED Talks every now and then, but half the time they're garbage. And how many shitty videos do I have to go through to find one that I'm actually resonating with? And then okay, 40 minutes. I can't wake up every day and learn for an hour and a half. That's not the stage we're in. And so I figured out a new cheat code, and I call it sprint prep, and Kev does this better than I do. That's why he's always on time. A little bit of sprint prep goes a long way. That's the quote. For the last 2 evenings, and this is what I'm going to implement for all of 2025. That's my goal anyways. Again, don't write that in stone. But I'm going to pick a book. I'm going to keep my phone. So Emilia's putting the phone chargers upstairs now. She wants separation of, work and home. And I agree with her because what the F? As you can see, I have a great relationship with what I've done this year. But I can't do this again. 2025 cannot be like this again. So anyways, I wake up the night before. I put a book and my Dreamliner right next to we have a fireplace and then my couch. Every morning when I wake up, I am exhausted and I go get protein and I get caffeine and I put it by the couch stand and I pick up the book and I start learning. I need a book picked in advance because if not, I end up scrolling on Audible, scrolling on YouTube, trying to find an interview. The amount of time I wasted, dude, it's, again, 15 minutes it adds up. Like, yeah. You might as well burn, I don't know, let's just do this. Let's say I wasted 20 minutes a day for 365 days. Divided by 60. You might as well burn 121 hours. Dude, that's nuts. What a waste of my fucking time.
It's a lot of time.
So, and again, by the way, if I'm being a little hardcore with this is the level of intensity I play with. I know I won't change unless I get mad enough.
Been dropping a lot of F-bombs lately. We're going to have an F-bomb jar.
I said effing for some of them.
Some of them, yeah, but I think maybe the jar could go to me from a financial standpoint, just kind of Venmo me. Correct? Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, you want to swear, but
every now and then I think you gotta
I could use
give
a
it a little
extra.
something.
But
I do think there's a lesson in that too, which is if you're not frustrated with yourself, you won't change.
Necessity is just a great thing for change. It's a great thing for change, and it's a great thing for staying the same if what you're doing is working. That's a whole different thing. I told Alan this the other day. I said one of the things that has been very, very beneficial for me is when I'm finishing my day, I batch WhatsApp last thing. Even, let's say Alan and I record till 7. I'm done. It's been a long day. It's been a 13-hour day if I'm working till 7. But let me look at WhatsApp, see if anything's burning down, see if the team needs anything. I can close it out. And then it gives me a little extra peace of mind when I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up, I don't feel pulled to immediately check WhatsApp. That's been hugely beneficial for me. And then, very similar to you, I always have my phone next to my AirPods. The night before, I take an energy drink out and put it in the fridge.
Yep.
I'm trying to make your
gym bags ready.
I don't even have a gym bag. I leave everything in my trunk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I leave everything in my... You're not allowed to use bags at my gym. It's dumb.
What?
Yeah, you're not allowed to have bags on the floor.
What?
Yeah, it's a thing. Sucks.
That's
but
I don't...
Be
privately owned. That's not a chain.
It's a small chain. There's like 5 of them or 6 of them. But yeah, it's not a big chain.
You can't have bags at the gym?
It's pretty
I
common.
wouldn't go. It's pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty common.
I've never been to a gym where you can't have a bag. You gotta
pretty
have a
common.
gym bag.
Not on the floor.
How am
It's
I
like
eating
a-
my Doritos mid-workout?
It's a lawsuit thing. If somebody's walking and they trip over the bag or something, it's not account. I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter to me. I literally take my belt. I take my wrist. I just carry everything with me and throw it on the floor. Like, I can't have a bag.
Dumb.
It's not great. It's not great.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
But that's another thing. If I'm going to do legs and I want my knee sleeves, I want to make sure they're just in the car. They're in my trunk all the time. So it doesn't matter. If I'm traveling and I have my car, I have my stuff. That's one less thing for me to plan. If I know I'm going somewhere, my AirPods always go in my backpack just in case. You never know. I'm always trying to, again, most of it for me comes from anxiety because when I was a foreman at my old company, we would pack a van and then we would drive 12 hours. And if you didn't have the stuff you needed, you were screwed. Because a lot of the stuff we ordered was specialty and it was at the shop and it was nowhere else. You literally couldn't get it anywhere else. So if you didn't have it, you were in trouble. So I was always trying to...
Did you have these tendencies before that? Because you do. I've traveled with you. Say words, Alan. I've traveled with you. And you always have, everything's simple. You got to go simple. Everything's simple, which I respect. I think that's really critical. When you complexify things, it's just really hard to be successful in this complex world. But everything's always simple and prepared in advance. Like you'll always have the car packed or whatever, so I respect that a lot. And the other piece of this episode we wanted to talk about briefly too was what you pay attention to. So the reason I chose it's called The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. And if I always pick a book. For some reason, I just can't read personal development before bed. There's 2 times that I read, morning and evening. And I can't read productivity or like anything self-help. I can do philosophy and history before bed. I cannot stand. Imagine reading Atomic Habits before bed. I can't.
I don't read anything. I watch TV before bed. Straight up, I do.
I fall asleep very quickly. So I watch TV too in the evenings. But before bed, I like to, I have a little lamp and I like to read and just nod off. But I cannot do any book that's like ramping up. Like, hey, here's some ideas of how to be more productive. The last thing I want to do before bed is like think about productivity. Yeah. So it's always history or philosophy or psychology. But in the mornings, it's got to be something about productivity or habits or business. It's something that primes my mind. Like if I say 72, 72, 72, 72, 72, everyone listening has a higher probability of noticing 72 later. That's priming. They did a study where they gave people warm coffee versus cold coffee. And the people who got cold coffee were a lot colder. And so priming, I pick a book the night before, as if I've been doing this for years, for the last 2 days. And I'm trying to from now on, but I'm so future-oriented, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a book the night before that, number one, it has to be something that I actually enjoy. It has to be something that I think the author is credible, and that's harder these days, because not a lot of authors lead by example. I'm being honest, like this is very alarming for me. A lot of authors don't lead by example. It's very...
Hey, most people don't lead by example. I think authors are just a sub... I don't think most people do. How many out-of-shape doctors have you seen? How many,
That's got to be my... And that's another time. But, that's got to be my life's biggest pet peeve. Is irrationality and not leading by example. It's a core value. I mean, if you're not doing it, just shut up. Seriously. But, again, a little hardcore this morning.
Well, in fairness, somebody could literally say to you, Alan, you've been doing it 2 fucking days. Did you get off your high horse?
No. But I've been learning every morning for...
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like you said, well, I talk about it like I've been doing it. I've only been doing it for 2 days. And
in my mind, it's already done for
I know. But I'm just saying,
fair.
Just playing the other side of the coin, people could easily say, like, hey, man.
Fair.
I can hold my breath for 2 days. But I do lead by
example. I never talk about it unless I'm going to do it or doing it. Yeah. And if I didn't do it the last 2 days, I wouldn't be talking about it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So just because So anyways, the night before, I pick a book that I enjoy, that I'm interested in, not enjoy, interested in. The author's credible, and it needs to be something that is aligned with what I'm working on in my life. Like, I'm not going to read a book on spirituality right now, and the reason why is because I'm in a phase where I really need to grind. This is a grind chapter, And I like to pick books based on the phase you're in, the chapter you're in. Like focus. I want to stay very focused right now. And so a book on focus would be really powerful, or productivity, or whatever it is. So I just think those are really good tips, because with all my clients, I give them book recommendations. Not all of them, but most of them, probably 90%. And one of them actually has a habit that says Alan Book Rec, and 20 minutes Alan Book Rec. I'm always picking the book that I know they need right now. Not that they want, but that they need. So if their habits aren't dialed in and they're trying to dial in their habits, high performance habits or atomic habits or the compound effect. If they aren't that productive, it's insane productivity, or it's the art of impossible, or it's that kind of thing. So prime your mind first thing in the morning with, you know as well as I do, if you've ever tried to watch a movie in the morning, what a terrible idea.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. You're in trouble because you're going to be very lethargic throughout the day and unproductive. So you just got to prime your mind.
So if I don't work out Sundays, I try to, if I don't do mobility and journaling first, because one of my favorite things to do is wake up Sunday morning and watch Saturday night's fights, because I don't really like staying up until 1 or 2 anymore. I don't know. I think I'm past that. That's something, that was the pastime. But I'll get up at 6. I'll go to bed at 10. I'll get up at 6, and I'll make coffee and sit on the couch and watch the fights. It's like the best. It's so relaxing. I get snuggled up on the couch. It's the best. Sometimes the cats will come out. But if I don't do mobility and journal before I do that, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. No way. What am I? Yeah, let me
I have 2 modes. I don't know about you, Kev. I have 2 modes.
Same.
I have productivity mode, we'll call it that, growth mode, and I have R&R mode.
Same.
Nice.
Same.
I wonder if that's unique to us. Those are the only 2 modes I have.
I think it's fairly normal. I think some people are better at marrying them. I think some people are better at marrying them. When I used to live with Matt, we'd be like R&Ring, and he'd get a potential real estate deal, and then he'd go to work, and then he'd come back to R&R.
That's not me. I have so much trouble with that.
Well, I think it's
when I shut down, I'm on my way out.
But if somebody had a direct line to your phone and they called you and you had an opportunity to coach, it's not like you wouldn't answer.
Yeah, but
I think that's just the way it's
shutdown. I have like a shut down the store. And again, I know we got to jump, but when I have a whole closing out ritual. So this week was very heavy, and I closed out around 8. I worked till 8 basically every.
Did you Z out the register?
You know it.
You got to Z out the register.
No, well, so I closed my Zen book. I closed my space station. I call it my other laptop. I shut everything down. I shut the lights down. And once I go downstairs, then I open my Zen book. I finalize clients, whatever, notes, finance, cash out, charge, and make sure I check my email like you, check my WhatsApp, make sure nothing's on fire.
Yeah.
And then I close down so that I have the mental and emotional freedom to actually R&R and shut off. And then I transition to the gym, little pre-workout something, gym, and pre-workout something is like a meal, something carbs. The other night it was potato chips. And then I hammer my lift. And then after that, once I eat, I am useless. Useless after I eat. And that's perfect. That's by design. But if I eat midday, dude, not good. I'll be nappies by 3.
I've been tested more lately when it comes to you and I worked. I literally ordered food. I was eating my dinner and a client texted me and said, "Hey, can you jump on a call?" I was like, "Yeah, give me 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes.
Man.
I got to finish.
Yeah,
I got to finish my dinner." And he's like, "Oh, you're eating? Yeah, dude, don't worry. Like, we'll talk tomorrow." When I was ready to go, there was a piece of me like, this kind of sucks. I don't want to do this. But it is what it is. I like grind and then R&R. But I also understand that's not 100% available at all times. I'm not delusional enough to think that no matter what, like I've been batching WhatsApp in bed lately. I don't like doing that. That's like a no for me, but sometimes it happens. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It is what
that's your top priority.
Yeah.
That client, like that's not, imagine some friend just calling you randomly saying, "Hey, can you chat?" I mean, you wouldn't pick that up.
Well,
unless it was an emergency.
My main focus is customer service
and podcasting. That's a podcaster who needs customer service. I mean,
Yep.
that's your main priority. So
Yep.
when you do simplify your priorities, maybe we'll do an episode on that another time. But we did a meetup on that. We also have a meetup coming out next month, January 4th or something.
I gotcha.
Setting up your goals for 2025.
Let's see.
It's that time of year. I know everyone's thinking about next year. And
It's January 2nd.
okay, Jan 2nd. What's the name of it?
I don't know. It's not on. I don't see it on my calendar with a name.
I
Unfortunately.
think. Yeah, I don't either. We have it in the NLU links document. I'm on it.
We're out here, Jeff. All right, as we do that, Next Level Nation, if you are someone who is looking, you're looking to optimize your day, you are, because you're listening to a podcast that's all about self-improvement, productivity. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to get to the next level. And if you know someone who would benefit from the podcast, please, please, please share it with them. The best way, I'm a podcast coach. Don't forget that. The best way, one of the best ways to grow a podcast is word of mouth. And if you find value in this, we would really, really, really appreciate it if you would share it with someone that you care about, because we believe it would help them. We believe it would help you because maybe you guys would have deep conversations about it, and it would help us, and it would help us help more people. So we would appreciate that very, very much.
Shout out to my man, Andrew. He was on a date, and it's with a therapist, and he recommended both NLU and the Conscious Couples podcast.
Shout out to you, buddy.
So hopefully that goes well, brother.
I was going to say,
Hopefully
also,
yeah.
save that for the second or third date, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate you, Andrew. Seriously, thank you. She indicated very strong indicators that she's into personal growth.
Nice.
Okay, monthly meetup number 37, setting clear, compelling, and achievable goals for 2025. Clear, compelling, and achievable goals. So do not let this be the same as last year and the years where New Year's resolutions, I think only 4% of people ever achieve them. Do not make the mistakes that all of us are guilty of at times, which is aiming way too high, coming too hot out of the gate, not having clarity, not having a process underneath the result. Like, we're going to do that. We do it every year, and it's awesome. Please join us.
Please
The
join
link
us.
to register will be in the show notes.
100%. This is the hard truth. 2025 will be no different than 2024 if you're no different, unfortunately. It's a new year, but if it's a new year in the same exact you're probably not going to get much different results. And we do not want that for you. We want you to have the best year yet. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep after it.